Hi, it's Wendy Bahari. I'm the author of Disarming the Narcissist. I'm also a psychotherapist and an expert in narcissism. I'm here with you today to discuss a simple little strategy that I call the pause, P-A-U-S-E, taking a pause. And this strategy is designed to help you to remain sturdy in your own skin when you are faced with the challenges of interacting with someone who has narcissistic personality disorder or someone who has traits of narcissism enough to activate us in ways that can knock us off balance, hijack us, put us in places that are perhaps ever so familiar from our once upon a time, or just make us feel very small and vulnerable. When we're triggered, we end up being rendered to that of sometimes a disempowered little child. And it's so unfair because we would never put a child in the throes of that conversation or that conflict. And so we need to take a moment and connect with and protect that part of ourselves, not by the shouting and the defensiveness and the counterattacks and the giving in, which is what we're prone to do because we're feeling vulnerable in those moments. We're feeling exhausted. We're feeling the need to be angry in order to feel bold. And anger can make you feel bold for a period of time, and then it makes you weary. It's hard to hold up anger for so long. But the fear of letting it go is the fear that we will then be giving in, we'll be surrendering once more. We'll get the rug pulled out from under us. So neither one of those pathways feels very good. We don't have to do either one of those things when we are at our healthy best, when we are standing on the platform of a healthy adult mode. Our voice doesn't need to escalate. There's nothing to defend. There's nothing to apologize for if you haven't done anything wrong. There's no need to give in or to submit or to agree if you don't agree. You can be an advocate for your truth. You can be a stand for yourself. You can say what's so when you're on that platform. And you can do it in the calmest, most neutral, self-affirmed, assertive way for setting a limit, for holding accountable, for exiting a conversation, for speaking your mind, for expressing your own disappointments or your needs or your rights. It's tough, not easy to do. You can do this discreetly in preparation for a conversation or an interaction you're anticipating. It's a little easier because you can plan for that, as I do sometimes when I'm stepping into the treatment room with some of my most difficult narcissistic clients. But sometimes we get captured in the moment. While the conversation is happening, you feel yourself sort of shifting, dropping into a place where you're no longer on that high road of comfortable with yourself, evenness in your voice. Your choreography of language is changing, your words are shifting, and you can feel yourself literally getting maybe prickly in your skin, sensitive in your body. That sense of distraction, which is the survival system, again, getting activated because you're vulnerable. And at those moments, the only thing we can do when faced with a threat is to fight, to flee, to freeze, to submit, to try to get past it, to try to preserve ourselves. But at your healthy adult best, there's no threat. There is empowerment. And that empowerment is between you and you. You're not necessarily going to see major results like that when you change your voice, when you change your posture, because the narcissist has their own work to do. And it may have an impact on them. It may come in the form of some subtlety or something that is perhaps even short-lived, but this is for your benefit, to remind you that you're okay in here, that there's nothing that you need to defend, that you don't need to doubt yourself. It's for their benefit too, because the truth is they need limits. They don't like them, but they need them. There's no way for them to be able to begin to even contemplate the possibility of an intimate connection in their lives without being confronted and held accountable. Now, you may not be looking for that any longer. You may be looking for the exit door, and that's okay too. But while you're in the midst of your negotiations with yourself, trying to figure out what to do with the narcissist in your life, this is a way that you can remain connected to you, remain real and authentic, and feeling that sense of sturdiness in your stride, a sense of okayness in your spirit. So here's how it works. You're in the middle of an interaction and you start to get triggered, and you know that because you get the signs in your body, you get the feeling in your throat, you can feel your face changing and your words beginning to shift. That's a moment that's important. Important things are happening inside the brain. Important things are happening in the narcissist too, although they don't know that. I mean, they're only behaving this way because there's a lot of shame and insecurity at the core of them. But that's their work. Your work is to take the moment, as I usually say in my examples when I'm demonstrating, I might go like this. Joe, give me a minute. Give me a second. Wait a minute. I'm getting triggered. So there must be something important going on. Now he's getting impatient. But that's okay. You stay with yourself. You close your eyes. You breathe. You take a breath. And as you're breathing, what you're doing is you're trying to capture an image of your own self, the helpless part, the vulnerable part. You're connecting with that part of you. You're caring for that part of you. You're trying to remove that part of you from this scenario in this moment and allow that part of you a safe and secure, comforted space. Sometimes it's a little playground, or it's a tucking yourself into bed with a storybook, or picturing yourself wrapped in a little blanket or floating on a cloud, whatever works for you, so that you can remove that most vulnerable part of you feeling threatened from this interaction. And you return to the conversation again with a breath. And I can say, Joe, I'm back. I was really triggered. There's something important happening between us. And when this happens, my impulse is to just give in, or my impulse is to start fighting with you and defending myself when there's really nothing to defend. Or my impulse is to apologize, but I haven't done anything wrong. And that wouldn't serve us in this moment. And so, if we can't have this conversation respectfully, then let's postpone it. I don't want to have the conversation if we can't do it with respect for each other. So this is your chance. You're setting your limit. You can exit. By all means, you should exit this interaction if, in fact, it's gotten to this point, and feel yourself fully connected and engaged with you, disengaged from the normal patterns or the habitual patterns of dysfunction in the relationship. And now the healthy you, the adult you, an advocate, a voice for yourself, saying what's so, engaged in your truth, disengaged from the unhealthy patterns that were there before. Take good care of you. Bye for now.